All right, we are ready to start. 5.3.
Because I was right after.
Whenever y'all ready to start, I guess we can start. We'll let y'all finish y'all's discussions. Binomial distribution. Basically, these problems are not as hard as that sounds. These are problems with 0.5 probability for the outcome or the event. You'll see that when we do some of the questions. You'll see that there's a probability of a coin falling on one side or not. It's not like the probability of 3, 4, 5 games, 6 games that we did in the previous section. This is 0.5 probability. There's a number of events that is actually happening. In all this, you don't have to write it down because you can find it on page the first page right here. There they are, page 210. Fixed number of trials. Trials must be independent. That means you have to replace the marble. In other words, the probability is not affected because you replace. It's with replacement. So most of them are with replacement. And the probability of success is the same in all trials. So that means flipping a coin. It's either going to fall on heads or tails. That's your 0.5 probability, which is somewhere in there. Should have it. 2 categories, success and what? Failure. That's your 0.5. So whatever the event is, either you're going to have success or what? You're not. Or failure. Success or failure. So that would be probability of flipping heads on a coin. Then probability of failure would be tails. You'll see that with the questions that we're going to be doing. And these questions, to me, are easier than the 5.2 questions. But somebody in here will mess that up. So we'll figure it out eventually. And the problems that you need, the things that you need to write down are right here. This is notation for binomial probability. This will also follow you into Chapter 6 and Chapter 7. The first thing is P. What is P? P is the probability of success. Later on, it's going to be P and P hat, which has a little caret symbol above it. These are the same thing, so don't let it confuse you. I don't know why they did that. What they did is they say the probability of success is going to be denoted with P, which means the probability of the event happening, which this is right here, which is P. So P is the same thing. Don't let it confuse you. P is the number of successes or the probability of success. Q is starts with a C. What is it? Nope. The complement of P. Complement. In other words, if P is true, Q is false. If P is equal to 0.35, Q is equal to 0.65 because 1 is probability. 1, 0 to 1 is probability. So Q is the complement. N denotes the fixed number of trials. I'll get to that when we get to our first example. And X denotes the specific, in other words, what you want. N is the number of trials. N is the probability, or X is the probability you want. Probability you want. And it'll make it'll make much more sense when we go through the problems, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, the only three that you're really wanting is N, P, and X. In that order. You might want to highlight that, and you have to put it in that order because your calculator will not do it if you don't put it in the correct order. How does it know? Well, you can't put X in for P because P is a decimal, and X is not going to be a decimal. X and N are usually going to be whole numbers. So if you put a whole number in there, the calculator is going to freak out because, believe it or not, the calculator cannot think. All right, some of y'all think that a calculator can think and is smarter than you are, but it's not. That is what you're going to plug in to N, P, and X. Now, do you need Q? Well, you only need Q when you're doing it by hand. I am not going to ask you to do it by hand unless you have to. And why would you have to? Because you don't have a calculator to do it. All right? And in that case, I would highly suggest that you get a calculator, like I told you in 4.6, that you get a calculator or get the WADIC MU application for your calculator, or get some kind of application for your calculator that has the factorial formulas on them, or borrow one or steal one. Here's one right here if anybody wants it. All right. Now, what is the formula for binomial distribution? Well, the formula is on the next couple of pages somewhere, 211, 212, or 213. I'll find it here in a second. Let's see if it's here. Nope. Yeah, there it is. On the bottom of page 212, there it is. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it because you really don't need it unless you don't have a calculator. And if you don't have a calculator, then we'll do a problem if you want to. But it's basically plugging what? Chug. So if N is equal to 5, you're going to put a 5 there. You're going to put a 5 here. And you're going to put in X is equal to 2. You're going to put a 2 there and a 2 there. P is 0.2. So that'd be 0.2 to the second power. And then Q, if P is 0.2, what is Q? 0.8, and then that would be 5 minus 2, which is 3, so that would be 0.8 to the third power. Then you have to crank out all the math. That's why it's much easier to have a calculator. And notice I tell you to use a calculator when you what? Need to use a calculator. So, how do you use the calculator to do this? You go to, I think it's second, bars, and I think it's binomial PDF. Binomial PDF or something like that. What number is it? Does anybody have it in front of them? 8 on one of the calculators is number 8. A is an alpha. Okay, some is alpha, some is 0, but just find binomial PDF. Okay, it's not going to ask you for anything. Now, some of the calculators will have a list of things to put in. Some of them will not. What it's going to ask you for, is the number of trials. It'll say number of trials. Will you please be quiet? Number of trials, and then the next one, it'll ask you for p-value and then the x value. Now that's if you have one that does that. The other one will ask, this is one example. The other one is just going to say this. It's going to say binomial PDF, and then it's going to have a parenthesis right there. And then you type in N, comma, P, comma, X, close parentheses. Now that's the two input ways that I know of. Now I don't know of any other ones, so if you have another one, just, I don't really care, you're going to fail. All right, so that's how you do it. So you've got two options. One is to do it by hand, and I will be glad to work with you on that before or after class or during office hours. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it in class because you don't need it. The second way is to do it this way. Yes.
Do you teach accounting?
No. Miss Looper teaches it. I know she's real good. Miss Looper. L-U-P-E-R, huh? Try to get Miss Looper. Now, if you don't study the terms in there, you're going to fail.
Is it a lot?
A lot of vocabulary.
It's not formulas?
It's not what?
Formulas.
Yeah, but you got to know what goes where.
Yeah.
The problem with students is they don't want to learn the vocabulary, and they don't learn what a dividend is versus a cost. They don't know what it is, so they don't know what to plug into the formulas, and that's why they fail it. They don't fail it because of the math. The math is simple addition and subtraction and multiplying. But they fail it because they don't know what to put in where. Well, that's the first thing she's going to tell you. She's going to tell you if you don't study the terminology and you don't study the vocabulary, you're not going to make it. And I agree with you because there's a lot of stuff in business that I look at and I'm like, in accounting, and I like, what's that? I don't know because I'm not an accountant. But when she explains it to me and tells me that this is this, then I say, okay, well then that's something you add. And she said, that's right. So you've got to learn the terminology. All right, let's do a first example. I'll just pull one out of the book and then we'll do some in your. Okay, here's one. It says, given that the probability of something, 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 that a randomly selected adult, given that there is a 0.85 probability that there is a adult that knows about Twitter, there we go. Use the binomial probability formula to find the probability of getting exactly 3 adults who know that Twitter is when 5 adults are randomly selected. Now, I will tell you that the problems on this test that I'm going to give you out of here is not dependent on how well you can punch things in a calculator. All right? It's how well you can read. Because a lot of these questions, it all depends on what your definition of is.
What?
Huh? That's what I was trying to do. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. No, I was just, it depends on what the problem is saying. Because if I tell you at least 1, what does that mean? That means the lowest number is 1, and you have to do the probability from 1 to whatever. If I tell you at most 2, what does that mean? That means 2 or what? Less. But if you don't know that, you don't know what to do in the problem. Just like this one. You don't know what N is, you don't know what P is, you don't know, and that's what we're going to talk about. P will always be, most of the time, unless specified, it will be your percentage, your fraction, or your decimal. One of those 3. P is going to be a ratio. Poor old Horatio. All right? So, in this problem, P is what? 0.85. So, P is equal to 0.85. Therefore, Q is equal to what? 0.15. Now, if you do it by hand, you're going to need Q. So you need to figure Q as soon as you figure P, or as soon as you find P. N is going to be equal to 5 because usually N is going to be the biggest what? The number. And in this case, it says 5 adults. So therefore, x is equal to what? 3. Now, if you are doing it by hand, you've got everything you need, plug and chug. If you're doing it by a calculator, you have n, p, and x. So calculator, you do binomial PDF, comma, and that's going to be n is 5, comma, 0.85, comma, and 3. And I'll pull it up, and y'all punch it in, and we'll see what we get. Yeah, just go in and out as you please. That's fine.
She got a phone call from Bush.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yep. That's why I was waiting back.
Wow. Y'all are very important people.
I got behind a moped and then I passed it and guess who was driving it?
It was Bush. You're learning, you know, whenever you can't get something done or whenever you fail at something, always blame it on somebody. And the best person to blame it on is Bush. Bad, Hubert. What am I doing? Okay. All right. Go to second bars, which is variables, and go down to dang old binomial PDF and type in n, which is 5, comma, p is 0.85, comma, and x is 2 or 3? 3. And enter. And you have a 14% chance of having 2 adults knowing what Twitter is. I watched a crazy movie the other night. It was about these college kids that want to go camping. And they go camping and they stop at this store. And there's two redneck guys in this truck, and they stare at each other for about 5 seconds. And the college kids automatically believe that they're going to kill the 2 redneck guys. Are going to kill them. That's it. That was about the dumbest movie I think I've ever watched. These kids running around killing themselves.
That kid that jumps in the wood chipper is my favorite.
That was funny. And that guy walks in. He said, "You ain't gonna believe what just happened. One of them college kids just jumped in the wood chipper head first." And they're walking around trying to figure out why these kids are killing themselves. Well, they're killing themselves because they believe that the 2 rednecks are going to kill them, so they're going to try to kill them first. But when they do, they end up messing up and killing themselves. What's the movie again?
Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Sounds like a dumb movie.
It is. It was dumb. But I was trying to go to sleep, and I was trying to find. And it came on like 3 o'clock in the morning. And then there's another one I watched called One Shot, One Kill or something. That was a dumb movie. Okay. So now that y'all know not to watch Tucker and Bill versus Evil, let's do a nerd. Let's go with some of your homework problems. Okay, now this one's real hard. They put it out of order.
Oh God.
Yeah, so you better watch it. They don't even make you, they trying to trick you.
I quit.
They're not even asking you to get it out of the problem. They just give it to you in a bad order, so see if you dumb enough to punch it in that order. No comment. Binomial PDF. Oh, why I blew it up. I have to do this every single time.
Hey, at least I know how to read.
Huh?
At least I know how to read.
You'll type it in the wrong way, I bet.
No,
Binomial.
that's fine.
PDF 17.15 and 4. Now, the second thing that you need to be able to do, besides pick the information out and put it in the correct order in your calculator, is to know what you're actually finding out. And basically, they're giving you some information that they already have, and they're applying it to new information here. So it'd be like me taking a quarter and marking it with a blue dot and flipping it 500 times and getting the probability of head and tails with that quarter and writing it down. P is equal to 0.65, Q is equal to 0.35 of tails. All right? And then I ask you, if you flip that same quarter with the blue dot, if you flip it 500 times, what is the probability going to be of getting tails? And you will take that information of my flipping it, and you will apply it to the 500. You see what I'm saying? And then you could be able to take the old probability and apply it to the new numbers. That's what you're doing. So this, technically, is your old probability. And they're asking you, out of 17 whatevers, what is the probability of getting 4 whatevers? Or whatever the case may be. So in that case, what does it come out to be? Well, what is it? 0.15? What? 147? Okay. 146, that's fine.
Still gonna go up.
Okay, but that's what you're going to get. So you're taking this 0.15 probability and you're applying it to this event right here. Now, there are some problems that are not like this. There are some problems that actually are going to have you think. Yeah. Oh God. We gotta think. What's this 6 cents for? It's your tip, BA. Yeah. Why would you want to think on a job? Let's find a good one.
That's why I'm gonna tax it.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
You don't have to think. Yeah. And they always wonder why they. I don't understand why. I don't understand why my cash register comes up short every night. Because you a DA. That's why. Yeah. You do. Yeah. Whatever. All right. Do this one, and I'm not going to blow it up. It's number 15. It says 6 P's are generated from parents having the green-yellow pair of genes. So there is a 0.75 probability that an individual P will have a green pod. Find the probability that among 6 offsprings, at least 5. You need to highlight that. If you write this question down, you need to highlight that at least 5, because that at least 5 tells you a whole lot. Is it unusual to get at least 5 P's with green pods when 6 offsprings are generated? Why or why not? So go ahead and write that problem down and highlight the at least 5, and then we'll start on it here in a second. So this is one of those thinking problems. Been drinking Sprite and ginger ale for the last 2 days. Ugh. I actually told my one of my classes, I was drinking ginger ale and Sprite for the last 2 days, and they said, why? It amazes me on how dumb some people are. I mean, it's not their fault. It's their parents' fault. Or their guardian's fault, because, you know, we were talking, Miss Poland and I were talking about people that don't know how to do anything. It's not their fault. It's their parents' fault, or their guardian's fault, or whatever, their aunt and uncle's fault. Part of being a parent or guardian is teaching your kids how to do something. And, buddy, let me tell you, I don't think parents are teaching their kids how to do anything. What is it that y'all said the girl didn't know how to run a dishwasher? I don't believe that. I really don't believe that. I think she was just trying to be something she wasn't. I don't know how to run a dishwasher. Yeah, whatever. That's why I couldn't be in retail, or I'd be like, you're fired, leave. I'd fire so many people, just like if I couldn't be a cop. Because if I saw somebody running out of a house and they were carrying stuff out of that house, I'd shoot them in the knees.
What if their house was on fire?
Did I say that the house was on fire?
You didn't say the house
You
was
can't
on
see
fire.
it.
Yeah, I would just shoot them in the toe then.
They'd have mass protests about it.
Oh yeah, I would be thrown out. I'd be fired from
We don't have to
Burger
leave the
King,
store.
from the police department. Yeah.
But you're a teacher with everybody.
While we're protesting, we don't have to.
But I can do that. I can do that for some reason. Yes, sir.
I
No.
was at Wendy's at
Yeah.
the drive-thru,
Uh-huh.
and like,
Did they ask you what a couple was?
no,
Okay.
this, like the price was like a certain amount of dollars and a penny.
Yeah.
I said, I'll just give you a penny, so you don't have to give me all that change.
Did
He
you melt
said-
it down?
He said, that's too complicated. So he handed me all the change.
Oh, heck no. Oh, no. I would have sat there and I would have said, I want you to give me my change back. Not of 99 pennies. I wouldn't have took it. Was it a guy or girl? He was that dumb.
So it was less complicated than counting all that thing out.
Cause I do that all the time, like, if it's like,
If it's $19.01,
yeah,
then you give the person $20.01, and they give you, let's see, 2001 minus 1901. What is that?
Now, I do understand some people, because I work at Bilo, and we have a policy where if I press the total button and then press a certain amount, and then you try to give me change after that, I'm not allowed to take it.
why not? It's common math. It's basic math.
I know how to do it, but I'm not allowed to do it.
Yeah. I work at, when I'm a cashier, like, I give people give me.
That's not when I work, I drop them off.
I mean, it's.
I think she's on drugs.
No, I'm not. One of the wheels in that stuff will not look it, so when you push it through the diamond, if it's cold.
Where do you work?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord, bless your heart.
And then I cleaned it up. And
I couldn't work there. What, the galley? It's a very nice restaurant. Half the people that eat there can afford to eat there. The other half cannot. It's kind of like J. Peters, it's the same thing. Half the people that eat there can afford it, half the people cannot. Yeah. Yeah, and then they tip the waitress like 50 cents.
Hey, I walked out, like, somebody was walking out and didn't tip me anything. I walked out and told the man, I said, do you know that, like, the food is not included? And he goes, no. It's because I'm embarrassing.
If you followed me at the restaurant and told me that, I would have you fired.
I would have picked up a rock and throw it at it. No. All right, here we go. And we have a P of 0.75. And if you need it, Q is equal to what? 0.25.
Wow, sorry.
I don't know what planet you're on.
I wasn't listening, I'm sorry.
Okay? And it looks like N is equal to what? Therefore, well, we got to think here, because this at least means that your lowest number
That's
is 5, And your other number is 6. So we've got x is equal to 5 and x is equal to 6. We can't put two numbers in for x. Well, then that means you're going to have to do 2 what? 2 times. All right, so you do 6, comma, 0.75 and 5 plus 6.75 and 6. You do your binomial PDF for both of those. So you take your handy dandy virtual calculator. Everybody has one. And you do second function entry. And binomial, let's see, 6.75, 6 and 0.75 and 5. And I'm just going to stow that. Stow, like you go to the stove. And I'm going to save it in alpha A. And then I'm going to take second function, enter, second function, enter. And I'm going to put in 6 here. And then I'm going to add that to alpha A. And that is 0.534. What did y'all get? So, what is find the probability that among 6 peas, at least 5 have green pods? You got a 53% chance. Now, it's going to ask you, is this unusual to get at least 5? Well, 53%, is it unusual? 5% is unusual. So, no, it's not unusual.
More than that.
Exactly, 53%. So it's not unusual. So we put in 0.534 and we feel good about ourselves. And I would say no. What no? The probability is 1 that is less. Is it unusual? No, it is not unusual because the event is not what? Small. And you feel good about yourself. So you don't have an orange face and a white neck.
Think about going against right
Why don't you? Get it at least 3 times. That way you can look like an Oompa Loompa.
I'm gonna make sure I'm nice and
Yeah. All right, do 17. 17 you have to think also. So you might want to just go ahead and just not do it.
I'm just not gonna watch the show over against Not gonna do it.
Actually, I think they wrote this question about Cagney and Lacey because it came out around when Cagney and Lacey was still on. That's how old this question is. About those 2 cops that were women. I never did watch it because I didn't like it. Yeah. Heaven forbid we have a woman cop.
You know what's sad is I've known people to say that were serious.
What?
I've known people to say that were pretty serious.
Well, they're cavemen.
Probably drove over the truck. Look back from that.
Some of the best fighter pilots in the military are women. Best snipers are women. You know why? You try to tell a man how to shoot. A man knows how to do everything, they think.
I also read a study one time that said that women are more cold and calculated and they're more able to shoot people.
I don't think that's it. I think it's more attention to detail. Women are more attention to detail than men are.
Look at the movie Gone Girl. Oh my gosh. That tells you everything you know about
What?
Gone Girl.
What are you talking about?
Movie, Gone Girl.
I've heard about that. I have heard about that movie, but I haven't been able to
Yeah,
watch
you
it.
need to go see it.
I'm waiting to do it on
Did you
direct.
get a divorce?
Huh?
Did you get a divorce? You got a divorce, right?
No, I just ran out.
Well, if you look, well, I'm pretty sure you probably can relate to that movie.
What did she do?
It's better than what happened to this guy.
She like stayed.
It don't give it away.
Have you seen it? I
Read
want to
the
see
book.
it. I have had 3 people. I was talking to the direct woman the other night, and she said, "Oh, if you love movies, you need to go see Gone Girl." And I was like, "Gone Girl?
It's horrible.
We need to watch the trailer."
She died.
Hmm? Can we watch the trailer? I want to watch the trailer. When did this movie come out? Oh, it just came out. That's why I haven't heard of it. Okay. Okay, let me find.
I had to read it for English 2, whatever it was.
Oh, has it got Ben Affleck in it?
Yeah, but he's actually really cast well. Because that's what the guy in the book said.
Gone Girl. Let's see.
Appropriate audience. That's not us.
Nick Dunn, you're probably the most hated man in America right now.
And you comparing this to me?
Everyone told us and told us marriage is hard work. Not for me and Nick.
As you all know, my wife, Amy Elliott Dunn, disappeared 3 days ago. I had nothing to do with the disappearance of my wife. I have nothing to hide.
Amy got friends we can talk to?
No, not really.
You don't know if she has friends, you don't know what she does all day, and you don't know your wife's blood type.
Just being a good guy, so everybody can see him being a good guy.
Well, you really don't like him, do you?
All I'm trying to do is be nice to the people who are volunteering to help find Amy.
I will practice believing my husband loves me, but I could be wrong.
You ever see that guy in the buses before?
Amy is the kind of girl who attracts admirers.
Whoever took her is bound to bring her back.
I'm hoping you can tell me what this means.
Want to solve Amy's treasure hunt?
Seen this girl around here?
Yeah, I remember her.
I know you. I saw you at the volunteer center.
I wanted to help.
What you
That's
want?
Doogie
I
Howser.
wanted a gun. We are all scared, but we are all here now.
I feel like something to be jettisoned if necessary. I feel like I could disappear.
The hallmark of a sociopath is a lack of empathy. Amy lost a lot of blood in there, and then somebody mopped it up.
Why do they mop up the blood if they're trying to stage a crime scene? Whatever they found, I think it's safe to assume that it's very bad.
I finally realized
Dang old Tyler Perry's in it.
of my own husband.
I would show you, as if you're doing a deposition, what to say, what not to say.
trained monkey?
A trained monkey who doesn't get lethal injections.
She's going to eat you alive.
You assaulted her?
It's not good enough for you? I hit her?
It's not even close.
Absolutely not. I never touched her.
We now believe Nick is involved in the disappearance of our daughter.
Without a body, without a murder weapon, their only hope is a confession.
know anything yet?
You need to tell me.
How was your marriage,
Are
Nick?
you asking me if I killed my wife?
Man of my dreams, this man of mine may kill me.
What about my son, Nick?
This man may kill me. In her own words,
This man may truly kill me.
You ever hear the expression, the simplest answer is often the correct one?
actually, I've never found that to be true.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
So
man.
what do you think happened from watching that?
It looks like to me that he might have done it and didn't know he did it.
Oh, yeah, you keep thinking that. You think that.
Oh, it's worse than that.
Oh, it
Worse
is?
than that. It's way worse than that.
Well, darn, I'm going to go see it. I can't see it tonight. I got to go to Columbia tonight.
I never thought we.
So it's a good movie?
Yeah, it's long though.
I don't mind a long movie.
Oh yeah, it's like 2 hours. It's gonna leave you confused, make you sweat. It's just like. I had somebody in the movie theater actually say like when it ended, they was like they do something strange with the way it ended.
Oh, no, I hate those. God, I can't stand it. That one shot, one kill, or whatever that movie, it didn't end right. All right. P is equal to what? Therefore, Q is equal to 0.65 for those that need to do it by hand. Assume that the advertiser wants to verify that 35%, blah, 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 and the pilot survey begins with 16 households. And it says, find the probability that none of the households, that's A, so plug and chug into NPX, what do you get? Type them in wrong. I'm sorry, what? 0.001. Give me one more digit. 0.0010. Okay, so that's real nice. Now let's see what B says. B is where you're going to actually have to think.
Depends on what channel it's coming on for A. If it's coming on NBC, then it's 100% chance that nobody watches.
I'm not going to watch it. In fact, I do not watch CBS, NBC, or ABC anymore. I don't even watch them. Especially news, I don't even watch them. 0.001. I watch Fox, yeah. And I watch movies. Have a good one. I remember. All right. Find the probability that what? At least one. So I want you to actually, you know, if you have to draw a number line and figure out what at least one is, shh, I don't want to steal thunder. I want everybody to think about it for a minute. Because I want to see which one does probability of 1, probability of 2, probability of 3, probability of 4, probability of 5. I want to see which one does that. You got 16 houses.
You lost her after 2 minutes.
Oh, okay. 16 houses. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up to 16. Okay? And we already have the probability of what? You already have the probability of 0. What does at least 1 mean? At least, exactly. At least 1 basically means 1 or more. But tell me, on our number line, what is 1 or more?
Everything.
Everything to the what?
Right.
Right of 0. So we know that this whole probability is equal to 1.00, right? So that's 16 out of 16 would be 1 out of 1, or 1.00. So we could find the what? Complement 1 minus 0.001 is equal to 0.999. Is that right? So the answer should be 0.999. And we did good on that. All right, do this one. Find the probability that at most 1 is watching the show. At most 1. What does at most 1 mean? It means that 1 is the highest number, so that means 0 and 1. We got 0, so then we got to find what? 1. So you take your handy dandy calculator and you do second. Is that President Bush? What are you doing? Oh, I thought President Bush called. I meant one of the presidents called. And that'll be 16. So insert, that'd be a 1. Second function, insert 16. What is my probability? 0.35 and 1. is equal to that plus 0.001. Oops. I get 0.010 is what I get. So this should be 0.010, which is 1%. So we plug that in, 0.010, and we feel good about ourselves. Now the question asked, if at most one household, that's what we just found at 1%, if 1% is tuned into Lindsay and Tobias, does it appear that 35% share is wrong? I say it is, because this right here is less than what? Oh, I said no. Yes. I'm sorry. Yes. Which one? I'm sorry. There we go.
Nice work.
I play football. All right, let's do another one. All right.
Too hard.
Okay, yes, too much reading. Too much reading, Hubert. Don't put that one on the test.
3 words on that one.
Yeah.
I used to live 9.
When someone buys a ticket for an airplane flight, there is a 0.0972 probability that the person will not show up for the flight. That is a waste of money. A certain jet can seat 20 passengers. Is it wise to book 22 passengers on a flight on the jet? All right, so I'm going to let y'all work on that. That is a test question, because you really have to think. Just remember how many seats there are. I'm going to take the roll. And I will tell you that P is not equal to 0.069.
Good. You don't know where I got that.
Okay.
Where you got that.
I'm sorry. 0.0972. That's not P. Sorry.
That's not right. No. I'm at 3.
I'll give you a hint. N is going to be equal to 22. Because how many seats are there? There's 20, but how many passengers are being 22?
I mean 8. It really was.
I can't pull up my attendance. Doesn't log me out again. All right. Attendance tracker. Oh, I didn't do my last class. Gotta make sure I do one.
Go ahead and mark them all.
I do. They were all here. There was only 9 of them.
I said add.
Huh?
I said you should mark them as.
Yeah, so I can do all the paperwork. No.
You go ahead and mark all their class as.
Ooh, that's the wrong class. Sorry. Now I want to go see that dang movie.
You get a bid.
I went and saw Annabelle this weekend.
Was it good?
I don't know. I guess if you were a mama, then you'd be scared. But if you're not really a mama, then you'd be scared. It's all about the demon trying to take the baby. And she's trying to I hate demons.
All right. Miss Brabazon. That's the wrong class, too. Good. Golly molly, I can't do anything right today.
Just one of those that.
Y'all are 10:01? Y'all are 1:20:01, right? Yeah, you are. Okay, Miss Bannister, let me go ahead and put yes. Bannister's here, Baroni's here, Barrington's here. Carpenter left. Sharping here. Dawson's here. Desai's here. Frank's here. Gray's here. Hunsinger's here. Melissa and Taylor. Melissa left. You're Taylor, right? Okay. Taylor. Kern is here. Kurtz. Sing Kurtz. Oh, there she is. Kurtz is here. Okay. Marshall.
I'm here.
Mayfield. Morgan. I didn't see Morgan today. Mullen. Oliver's not here. Poland's here. Robinson's here. No, he's not. Robinson's not here. Roller.
Here.
Salmons. Not here. Smith. Not here. Thrasher. Tollison. Turner. Whitman. Wilmering's here, and Wilson was here. Okay, that's done. What time's class over? No, it's not. I just know it's not 12:15. What time's class over? Okay, thank you, Miss Poland. I can always trust you. I can't trust these other people. All right. This is how you do this one. N is equal to 22 because that's what they're asking you. They're asking you if booking 22 people on this flight is wise. Okay, so there's the 22. So N is equal to 22. P is equal to 1 minus what? 0.0972. And that's equal to what? 0.99028.
What?
So there is your P, there is your N. Now how are you going to do the X? Well, X is going to be 21 and what? X is going to be equal to 21 and X is going to be equal to 22 because those are the two people that you don't want to show up. Okay? The 21st and the 22nd person. So that's going to be 22, comma, 0.9028, comma, 21, plus N is 22, comma, 0.9028, comma, 22. Somebody add those two together. What do you get? I'm sorry, what? 0.355. Is that over 5%? Yes, it is. So that means that to me that the 21st and 22nd person may show up. That's what it means. So it's not wise, but I don't know which one it's going to be because I always get these wrong. It is not a wise decision because the probability that there are enough seats on the jet is more than 0.05. That's what I would put, but I don't know what they're wanting there. So it's more than 0.05. This is more than 0.05. So that means that the likelihood of these two showing up is more than 0. Because the probability that there are not enough seats on the jet is high because not enough seats is higher because of this, 36%. It's wise decision because the probability that there are not seats on a jet, so overbooking is not an unlikely event. I have no first freaking idea. I don't know.
This is gonna be okay. There's at least 2 other people that stuff experience.
I'm just glad you can get this. Let's see what it is. Where do you put in the probability? They didn't even ask you. Okay. What do y'all think? We got to put in the jet is what? Oh, the probability is 0.33 or 0.355. What? You thought what? That's what I did. That's what I asked y'all to do. Okay, well, I'm going to pick C next, and then y'all see what it is. I don't know. I may have done it wrong. I just asked for the... Let's just see what it is. There it is. It's B. I thought I hit B.
That's ridiculous.
Huh? Okay, I'll give you the answer if that's... It is not a wise decision. Well, we all agree on that because I believe that the 2 people are going to show up because they got a 40% chance, 36% chance of showing up. I don't know what they're saying. They're saying that the probability that there are not enough seats, so overbooking is not an unlikely event. Not an unlikely. That would mean what? That means likely. Why don't they just say likely? Okay. Just quit. All right. Y'all get out of here. Have a good day. Good weekend. We'll finish up chapter 5 Tuesday. Because I only got one more section to go over.